Good morning, guys. I'm gonna make a weekly review slash weekly outlook for next week. I know I've been missing. I've been busy transitioning out of my career and transitioning to doing this full time. So be patient with me. I'm gonna be bringing these videos back. I've been posting on Instagram at DustBust Trades if you want to see that. A more one-on-one journal-like feel to it. And then I'm gonna keep my YouTube videos for more long form and more knowledge and information that I can share with you guys. So that being said, looking at this week's economic calendar, I'm interested in the AM session news. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday morning I said I was not interested in the AM session, but rather I'd wait and watch to see what the FOMC release did and use that as information going into Thursday's AM session. So that being said, 10 o'clock news on Tuesday. Let's go down into the charts. So starting on a daily time frame, we're looking at Tuesday. Tuesday is right here. So before that candle had printed, I was looking at that daily buy side and this daily sell side, and if I go down to a 4-hour chart, I can refine these levels. I can add this internal range here, right there, and I'm fine with that high. I'll lower that because I'm interested in Tuesday 6 and 10 o'clock candles. So this was our higher time frame POIs that day. Now dropping down into an hourly chart, kind of like our intermediate time frame. So Tuesday, we'll note midnight open. I'm always doing this now. Midnight open and 8:30 open. So there's our midnight, and here is our 8:30 open. So right away, before Tuesday even opens up our session, our kill zone 8:30 to 11, I'm noticing we're in a deep discount. We're below midnight, way below midnight, and we just barely wicked below 8:30 open. So we're in a deep discount, and let's look at Tuesday, what level we were using here. So as you can see on Tuesday, we didn't quite use that 4-hour internal, but we swept a hourly sell side liquidity pool here, and we'll drop down to our entry time frame, which is the 5-minute for me. So this is what it looks like on our entry time frame. So at 8:15 we sweep this low, 8:30 open, way below midnight. We make this leg long here. Let me get rid of that sell side. So this wick below 8:30 open, that's our little Judas swing for the AM session. And there's one, here I'll show you. There's one fair value gap, 2 fair value gaps, 3 fair value gaps, 4, 5. There's 5 fair value gaps in this displacement league, and in that case, that's when I would draw my fib low to high and take the fair value gap that's at equilibrium or below. So this fair value gap really stood out to me right here, and this one. Now, since we're way below midnight, this was like an A+ setup to me, even though we had 10 o'clock news, which I've been studying, and 10 o'clock news, you still trade 8:30 to 11. I used to just trade 9:30 to 11 and, you know, wait for the news to pass. But anyway, you can take pre-market setups with the ahead of the news. So I entered here, you know, at the fair value gap below discount, and you know, I'm looking for a premium array to target, and this imbalance here at 7 o'clock really stood out to me at this negative, you know, 0.5. This is what it looked like. I entered here, targeted that for 2.15 R, and that was the trade I took on Tuesday. But I want to show you an example from last week where we had that 10 o'clock news, but we had a pre-market setup. I think it was last Friday. Yeah, Friday the 24th. I'll go back. This is a little coloring outside the lines here, but Friday 10 o'clock news. You know, we can look at 9:30 to 11. We didn't really get any clean displacement, but look at 8:30. You know, way above midnight in a premium. Clean shorts here, pre-market into these lows here. So just something to consider, and something I'm going to consider more, you know, telling myself, hey, any setup inside of this window, game on. So just something we can learn from that example. And you know, as you can see, we priced into that premium array at 10 o'clock news, and then we sold off into that 4-hour internal range with no real entry here. That brings me into a Thursday AM session. So I'll get rid of all my drawings. Same thing. Always marking out midnight open to see where we are, you know, premium discount wise. So I was watching AM session, or the whole AM session. We had 8:30 news, and notice how I'm using this to give me a narrative into the actual section where I'm getting my entries. Right here, I didn't get any, you know, market structure shift with displacement. These are just fair value gaps, and that I use for narrative. And as you can see, we flipped it multiple times right before 9:30, and then selling off. Where if you watch my Instagram, I was calling out this imbalance here to target these sell sides. I didn't want to retrace, but at 10 o'clock we made another short, which failed. As you can see, we didn't continue to sell off to where I was looking for. If we go to the higher time frames on Thursday, I think it was this low, maybe Tuesday's low. Yeah, I think it looked like something like this. Stop loss candle 1, that was 1.7, but I was targeting this low for 2.5 R, intra-week low. Just didn't get the follow through I wanted, and since it's, you know, that the 9:30 setup failed, we didn't get a pre-market setup, and we got stopped out. On Thursdays, I'm interested in 11 o'clock setups, so we get this leg at 10:30 to, you know, 11:15 long, you know, below midnight. So if you draw this fib from this low here, let me clean this up, get rid of all these. We know we got stopped out there, and I'll take my midnight right there. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fair value gaps. So how do I know which fair value gap to use? Well, you know, use the fair value gap that's near 50% or below. And in this case, we had this bullish breaker here, so I'm looking at this fair value gap. I was actually driving, and I told my girlfriend to set my limit orders here, and I actually didn't take this. Sadly, I took this short here at 11:30, but it's just funny because I told my girlfriend to put that in, and that was the winner for the day. But at that point, You should have been long here at this fair value gap under the low, target all-time highs for 1.8R. So -1 and then plus 1.8, that would have covered your losses and then some. So that's the whole idea of this game. So 2 setups on Thursday. I believe we had just 8:30 news. Yep. So 10 o'clock failed to deliver price. That was the manipulation, and we had a New York reversal. So that was Thursday. And then Friday, which was the best trade of the week in my opinion. Draw midnight, draw 8:30. Friday, 10 o'clock news. So again, this is where my point is being proven over and over again, that before I don't have to wait for 9:30 open with 10 o'clock news. Like, they're still using pre-market to deliver price, and then using these embargoes to deliver price, or 9:30 open even, which you'll see in this example. So Friday, we go down to our intraday time frames. I was looking for a manipulation above this high, at 8:30 or pre-market, and then 9:30, 10 o'clock reverse, and then seek this sell side and lower into these imbalances, which was discount of the current range here. So I'll draw that. As you can see, I was looking for that. I was looking for some kind of retracements into this, but of course I just let the market show me its hand, and this is what it gave me. So still using that same idea of manipulating price higher to go lower, just taking the trade in that direction and then calling it a fucking day. So as you can see at 8:40, 8:50 macro, we're trading lower into this 15-minute imbalance and this bullish order block. So if I draw that out just like this, this displacement doesn't matter to me because it doesn't break structure, but as you can see, we invert it here. We use it as an inversion fair value gap. And then during the 8:50 9:10 macro, we make our model long here. So I'll get rid of that. We have a bullish market structure shift, this 8:50 high, and I entered here on this gap, stop below the candle 1, and targeted that high for about 2.8R, call it 3R. So this was A plus for me because it was below 8:30 open. This 8:30 drop to me was like a little Judas swing, and then we make our leg long, one fair value gap, so you don't really need to draw the fib. Yeah, just entered here, and then I'm watching 9:30 opens around here, uses this bullish order block from 8:30 open, and then just delivers. I mean, absolutely hammers price up well beyond all-time highs, and below midnight. So Friday we had 3R, Thursday we had -1 and then +2. So let's call it, we have 3 here, -1, 2, +2, 4, and then 2 on Tuesday. So about 6R, 6% this week. I had an amazing week. Regardless, my trades are starting to look closer to my back tests, and I'm looking forward to this journey going forward. My goal on this platform is just to show you what I've been doing over the years and how it's developed, and how I kind of made a model around this session and this model. I give all credit to God and ICT. This is not my work. If it wasn't for ICT, I don't think I'd be where I'm at in this. And I want to share his knowledge with everyone, and that's the best I can do. Try to change my life using this, and change others if follow suit. Now I'm going to go into the weekly outlook version of this video. Go to the next week news. So again, Tuesday, May 5th. Since it's red news, I will treat it a little different. So I will watch pre-market, but if we don't get a pre-market setup and we're heading into equities open, I won't take a setup at 9:30. I'll wait for that 10 o'clock news to drop, 10 to 11 silver bullet, and then go from there. But it is non-farm payroll, so I'm not interested Thursday, Friday. I'm going to try to get my bread, Tuesday, Wednesday, call it a week, and then leave Thursday, Friday to the gamblers and study price action. So if I go down to the daily or weekly time frame, so as a framework, just going to use previous week high, previous week low. We have this imbalance here, so I'll draw this high, this weekly low. I'll just draw fair value gap for draws. So here's what that looks like. Here's what that looks like on this time frame. So maybe Monday we trade above these highs, and then we can start, seeking lower prices on an hourly chart. So nothing much I can do, even on the daily time frame. That's that sell side. I can draw this imbalance here. So this is kind of the range we're in, and then I'm just gonna have to wait for Tuesday morning to see what Monday does. Let Monday print. That will give us more information to see what Tuesday wants to do within this range. But I'd have this on your chart and study this. Yeah, interested on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's it. And then just keep it pushing, I guess. See what we get. I'll make a video next week trying to keep at this and stay disciplined with it for a journal for my kids, and helping other people, of course. Yeah, so good luck and good trading, and I'll see you guys next week.